G'day guys, welcome back to another adventure and day 15 of Inktober with the prompt word week. Before I get started, thank you so much for those people who have subscribed or commented over the weekend, and I know that I said that I would be back for the days 13 and 14, but just like last weekend, I just found that it was a bit too much to keep going over the weekend with the videos, and so I decided to have a break from it. Anyway, back to today's painting. I'm going to be creating a piece that's actually forming the third in a triptych, and the first two pieces in this Japanese-inspired triptych were done on day 10 with flowing and day 12 with the prompt word whale. I'll leave cards up above so that you can go follow those if you haven't seen them already. All three pieces are inspired by Japanese wood blocks, and they're done in blue ink, white paint, and silver highlights. Today I'm going to be painting and drawing a piece that shows some flying fish inspired by the Japanese artist Bakufu Ono. And I'll talk about him in a moment, but firstly I just wanted to talk about the prompt word. So flying fish have the amazing ability, of course, that they can fly over the ocean, but they're not the best or strongest of flyers in the animal kingdom, that's for sure. It's interesting to think about how many times a weak skill or a weak ability can be enough to get you by, or in the case of these flying fish, it's even critical for their survival against hungry predators such as the sailfish that I'll be showing in this illustration. If you're curious about the materials that I'm using, please go back and have a look on day 10 flowing. Like I said before, this is all part of a series. Instead today, just like when I did with the prompt word whale, I'd like to use the time to talk about the Japanese artist that has inspired this piece. Bakufu Ono was primarily a painter who was born in 1888 in Tokyo. After surviving the Great Kanto quake, which devastated Tokyo in 1923, he relocated to the Kansai area of Japan, where you find such well-known cities such as Kyoto and Osaka, among others. Nature inspired almost all of Ono's paintings. He often painted flowers and landscapes, and woodcarvers and printmakers would then transform his art into woodblock prints. The majority of print artists in Japan during the first half of the 20th century can typically be attributed to one of two art movements, known as the Shin-hanga and the Sosaku-hanga camps. However, it's interesting to note that Ono does not fit into either of these camps. Instead, his style is unique and independent, as if existing outside of the parameters of both space and time, and he achieves a timeless harmony that's inspired by nature. The most popular of all his works is a series of paintings called Dai Nippon Gyorui Gashu, which translates as Paintings of Japanese Fish. This collection consists of 72 fish prints, and they were published during 5 different print releases between 1937 and 1944. The print catalogue releases of his works would also prove to be invaluable, as Ono often avoided using text or titles on his prints, and thus it makes it very difficult to identify his works with certainty unless it can be cross-referenced from one of these print catalogues. Both the artistic beauty and the scientific accuracy of Ono's fish paintings have been admired by both woodblock print collectors and fish enthusiasts. Although the artistry of his fish paintings are spectacular, especially in regards to composition and use of colour, the detail and close accuracy is especially remarkable. This is because most life painters for subjects such as fish will work from caught or preserved specimens, closely inspecting the intricate details of the subject as they work. However, Ono somehow managed to work from live specimens most of the time. He made sketches of living fish, which he then turned into paintings. In turn, these paintings were then made into carefully carved wood blocks, and finally into detailed prints. The painting inserted shows perhaps Ono's most famous print from the Great Fish paintings. It is entitled Flying Fish, and it is the inspiration for the piece I'm creating today. In Ono's painting, there is a wonderfully lively presentation of 3 flying fish jumping out of the water and gliding above a dynamic ocean. The water is reminiscent of masters such as Hokusai, and yet it is also unique. The swirling forms and gentle flow of the waves put the viewer at ease and encourage the eye to drift along the painting, pausing here and there to absorb the beauty of the primary subjects, the 3 flying fish. Even the fish are positioned to act almost as a subtle or implied wave, encouraging the eye to keep drifting after each short pause on the fish in turn. The varied angles of the fish heighten the sense of motion and movement which already began with the waves, and the sprinkled white dots, which often feature in Japanese woodblocks that involve water, encourage the viewer's mind to wander to thoughts of ocean breezes and the salty smell of ocean spray. Ono became famous during his lifetime thanks in part to the success of his fish paintings, and he achieved a particularly large surge in popularity during the 1950s and 60s, following the end of World War II. Ono sadly passed away in 1976 at the age of 88. Today, an Ono print may cost $500 or more. A print of this well-known flying fish painting and woodblock sold in 2007 for $800. So this is the end of my Japanese woodblock-inspired triptych that shows various forms of water in blue ink, white paint, and silver highlights. I've decided to give it the name Dōteki na Umi, Tayōna jinsei, which translates to something like dynamic ocean, diverse life. If you enjoyed this video and speed paint, please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'd love to know in the comments below which of my triptych artworks you like the most. My guess is that most people will like the Great Whale off Kanagawa the most, but I'm personally really pleased with this painting that I've done today of the flying fish and the sailfish. I've also already thought a bit about tomorrow. I'm going to be branching out into some very different styles of art and even a whole new medium, so please stay tuned for that. I'll probably return to art that's inspired by my life in Japan later on in Inktober, but for now it's time to explore something new and different for a few days. I hope that you'll also join me on these new art adventures this week, and thank you so much for tuning into this video. I've really been overwhelmed with the lovely comments, support, and a whole bunch of new subscribers lately. Thank you so much for it, and bye for now.